Imagine waking up one morning and discovering your bank had lost 242 million US dollars. Now, this story begins in 1995 with a man named Emmanuel Nwude. At that time, Emmanuel was in his early 40s and he lived in Enugu, a major city in southeastern Nigeria. He was a businessman who presented himself as someone with powerful political connections and experience in international finance. But one day he decided he wanted to become incredibly wealthy without working for it. So he came up with an idea to trick a bank into giving him money willingly, and his target was Banco Noroeste, one of Brazil's largest private banks headquartered in Sao Paulo, Brazil. The man he focused on was Nelson Sakaguchi, a senior executive responsible for the bank's international investment. Emmanuel contacted Sakaguchi and introduced himself as Paul Ugoma, who was the real governor of Central Bank at that time. He claimed the Nigerian government was planning to build a brand new international airport in Abuja, which is the Nigerian's capital city. And according to him, foreign investors who got in early would receive a lot of profit from the project. To make the story more believable, Emmanuel and his associates forged government documents bearing official-looking seals and signatures. They arranged meetings. They created fake contracts. They used multiple false identities. They even bribed a lot of people to pose as government officials and business representatives. And that made everything to look authentic. Every document, every promise, every phone call convinced the bank that the investment was genuine. So Banco Noroeste began transferring money. At first, the money they transferred were relatively small. Then the money became larger and larger. Between 1995 and 1997, the bank has transferred approximately 242 million US dollars into account controlled by Emmanuel and his associates. And once the money arrived, it was quickly moved through bank accounts in several countries, making it extremely difficult for investigators to actually trace. So with his newfound fortune now, Emmanuel began living an extravagant lifestyle. He bought luxury homes, expensive cars, businesses, large area of land, and eventually he became known as one of the wealthiest men in southeastern Nigeria. For years, nobody realized anything was wrong until in 1998, Banco Noroeste was acquired by another Brazilian bank, which is Banco Santander. And as part of the takeover, auditors carefully examined years of financial records. Then they made a shocking discovery. The bank had invested hundreds of millions of dollars in what was supposed to be a Nigerian airport project. But when investigators checked the project, there was no airport construction project, no construction site, no government contract, nothing. The entire investment only existed on paper. So the Brazilian authorities immediately launched a criminal investigation, and then they worked closely with Nigerian law enforcement agencies. And investigators traced international bank transfer, they examined the false documents, they interviewed witnesses, and then they followed the money that had been moved through multiple countries and dozens of bank accounts. And that made the investigation to take a very long time. So it took several years because the money has been hidden behind complex international financial transactions. And then finally, in 2004, Nigerian authorities arrested Emmanuel Nwude, and he was charged with multiple counts of fraud, forgery, conspiracy, and obtaining money under false pretense. So in 2005, he pleaded guilty in Nigeria and he received a prison sentence. And authorities also seized several of his luxury properties and recovered part of the money he had stolen. But most of the 242 million US dollars had vanished through international financial transactions and has never been fully recovered up to today. Up to this day, Banco Noroeste fraud remains one of the largest and most audacious bank scams to be carried out by a single person.